Hello and welcome back. In today's video, we're going to look at how to use some of our string methods that we've been learning in the second semester Python course to swap two substrings in a string. In this technique of swapping two substrings in a string, we're going to use a temporary substring that will help us to avoid losing a value while swapping substring. Some examples of when we'd want to swap substrings might include displaying a player's names on their turn in a game, maybe correcting a typo with a common word like its and its, or swapping the names of two characters in a story that you've written. The technique is relatively easy to understand, but it is also very commonly misapplied. So if we take a look at this code right here, this is a sample code of what somebody might write in order to attempt to change the word dog to cat and the cat to dog, to swap the story. So instead of saying the dog chased the cat, their intended outcome would be to say the cat chased the dog. So you see in line 2, they use the story.replace method, and they say replace all instances of dog with the word cat. And then in the second or the third line that you see on your screen, they say story equals story.replace cat with dog, and then print story. So you might anticipate that that algorithm is correct. But if you were to run this code, what you would really get is the cat chased the cat. I'm sorry, the dog chased the dog. Yeah, because then the first line story replaced all instances of cat with dog, so it said the dog chased the dog. And when the third line ran, there is no, yeah, I was right. The cat chased the cat. Sorry, even it confused me sometimes. So you gotta be careful when you're swapping things. It plays tricks on our human little brains. Okay, so let's look at our code and open up your project window to your weekly tasks. And if we run it right now, well, let's take a minute and let's examine the code quickly. The task says Amir will sharpen pencils and collect any attempts, and then I can't read the rest of it because I can't scroll, at this week's puzzle, and Haley will collect breakfast trash and pass out our graded work. Okay, and then we print out the tasks, and our goal is to replace Amir with Haley and Amir, but when we run this, what we see is in the swapped version, it says Amir will sharpen the pencils and collect any attempts at this week's puzzle. Haley will collect. So that first version is unaltered, looks great. But in the next week, it's kind of not fair to Amir because, well, he's the only one doing any work here. Amir will sharpen the pencils and collect a pencil this week's puzzle, and Amir will collect breakfast trash. So we did not swap, we just replaced everything with Amir. So the technique that we have to use is we have to create a temporary variable to store one of the variables, and it doesn't matter which, but you have to be very careful in the value that you pick. You need something that does not appear naturally in your text that you're swapping. So what we would do is we have a third position or a temporary swap position. And so the first thing that we're going to do here is we're going to say tasks.replace. Let me give you a little more room here so you can see the screen. I'm going to say tasks.replace. And instead of Amir with Haley, I'm going to say replace Amir with temp. And the use of all caps will help guarantee that it doesn't accidentally appear even as a substring of another word like temporary or etc. So I'm going to replace Amir with temp. Now I'm going to go ahead with this line, and it's safe to replace Haley with Amir. And after I've done that, you can see that now it will say temp will replace and Amir. So Haley has now swapped with Amir, and temp has taken Amir's old spot. Now that we've got temp in there, I can add a third line that says tasks equals tasks.replace. And this time I'm going to get rid of the temp and replace it with Haley. So it is a 3-position swap. We take and insert that temporary value. We make one swap, and then we replace the temporary value that we've inserted. And the result looks like a rotation where Amir became temp, and then temp became Haley. So that's going to prevent us from accidentally overwriting our values. So the temporary value, again, it's very important that we pick a temporary value that does not exist, because if we had left this with temp lowercase, let's go ahead and see what happens there. Okay, what we're going to see is a strange result. And it says Haley will sharpen pencils and collect any athletes at this week's puzzle. And the reason it did that is because that temp is part of the substring for attempt, and it replaced it inside of that word as well. So again, be very careful in the value that you choose for temporary to make sure that it does not appear in your text. Okay, and all caps is one technique that you can use. Special characters further would guarantee that there is no way in a normal story we're going to find asterisk, asterisk, temp, asterisk, asterisk. So special characters and all caps, again, are good ways to ensure that you're not overwriting values that are actually valid. Okay. All right, so just as a reminder, and so you can pause and add some stuff to your notes if you didn't get that in there earlier. This is our general algorithm. We have a string that's stored, and it's got our strings with substrings to swap. Step 1 is replace one substring with a temporary. Step 2 is to replace 1 with 2. And there 2 with 1, and then the last one is to go ahead and replace the temporary with 2, so we have a 3-way rotation. All right, so pause, make sure you get this algorithm put into your notes, and then use this to complete both of your practice assignments today.